Well, hello everyone. Good to be back. Good to see a few people that I know in the chat already. It's only been weeks since I did a stream, and I've removed a lot of videos from this channel, and so you probably, if you didn't watch the last stream, you didn't know what happened. So let me start with that because people will, drop off at different times in the stream, and then we'll get into everything. What I said was on the last stream that we wouldn't have streams for a while. I couldn't afford StreamYard, and which is what I use to stream, and that's what we're using tonight. So I canceled that, and I did, and I'll explain all that. Plus, I had other stuff to do, get my business started, things like that, and I have gone a long way with that. Got the website working. I was going to use this channel because it's got 600 and some subscribers. So I changed things up on the channel, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to use another one that I created as well. And I've been creating all kind of ancillary things for my coaching business, etc. I've got a lot of that stuff done. So the deal is, this is the free version of StreamYard, and it doesn't record. It used to record so I could go back and look at it. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it records or not. So it doesn't do that, as far as I know. It doesn't. Where it only does a very limited amount. And I think you're limited to 2-hour streams. And that was the problem before, because we would do streams sometimes, 3, 4, 5 hours. And so that was a problem. And so I had the paid version. I can guarantee this is not going to be a 2-hour stream. I'm totally exhausted. I want to give you some updates on me and things I've been doing and things like that. And yeah, that's basically it. So anyway, so I'm on the free version of StreamYard. One of the issues I had with getting stuff done was my dopamine system has been messed up for years. And I finally fixed it. And now I'm the opposite way. I wake up at 3 in the morning and start working, and I can't stop. And I think I'm going to take tomorrow off because I've been going for, 8, 9, 10 days straight. And burnout isn't good either. So anyway, the other issue is the heat. My air conditioner does not keep up. I did fix the air conditioner in my bedroom, that issue. So I am not up till 2:30 in the morning sweating in the middle of the bed and all that kind of stuff. That's fixed. And if that stays cool, but it doesn't stay cool here where I do the stream. So that's one reason why it will not be a long stream. Anyway, this is just to get caught up. I'm going to do streams as often as I can. I know, we used to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This Wednesday, definitely not a stream because I won't be here. Friday is, believe it or not, that's too far out for me to know what's going on. I have so much going on right now, which is a good thing, believe me. But I will schedule streams as I can. If the temperature here is over 102, 103 degrees Fahrenheit, I won't be doing a stream. It's just way too hot then. Today's not, it got to about 102, 103, I believe. And that's right on the fringe of okay. So I'm here. So that gets us caught up on that. And let's see who we have. We have Mercury Records. I'm here, Mercury Records. Put your glasses on, Rich. Mercury Rockets. Good to see you. And Michael B. He's fishing, huh? Bush fishing. Out in the bush fishing. Are you fishing for a bush or fishing for a fish in the bush? Pardon me. I don't know what bush fishing is. And hello, Angus Beef. Good to see you, Angus. Mr. Winnipeg Jets man. And Sissy May. I'm glad to be back too, Sissy May. Glad to see your face. Me and Sissy May texted today, and her face showed up on after I added her contact. It was so nice to see. Really was. Hello, Polly Follows Jesus. Good to see you as well. And so, when we last were together, your comments showed up on the screen, but they're not showing up on the screen. I'm not going to worry about it right now. But in between this and the next stream, whatever that is, I will see about that. Because I thought they said that was still available with the free version. And as you can see on the screen, it says powered by StreamYard. That's another difference. But 2 hours limit, we can live with that. I have to live with that right now. So anyway, Rolos, good to see you. Good to see you, Rolos. Yeah, I'm going to try to come back as often as I can. And once the heat is over, and especially once I get back from New York, I'm going to New York in November. It should be better before November. You never know here. We should be back at some point to a regular stream schedule like we were. And so that's the goal. And I think this YouTube channel, I'm going to put it back the way it was and get people to come to my new YouTube channel for the coaching business. Real FR Bear, hello. Good to see you. Real F-E-R Bear. I'm not speaking very well tonight. So the subject matter is very quick and simple. Have you noticed that there seems to be two tiers of the deep state? One that can be penetrated and one that cannot. The one that can be penetrated is now ours, the United States. You all follow the news, I'm sure, so you know what's going on with Obama and Brennan and Clapper and Susan Rice and all them, and we all knew that anyway. No surprise. Still, if anyone is held accountable, then I'll say, okay, now something's being done. Until I see the freaking perp walks and then someone actually convicted, I won't believe it. However, it is a small degree of success just having it happen, brought to the public forum, because that never happened before. The only thing that ever came to the public forum is if the deep state wanted you gone, then it would become public. Watergate, for example. Watergate was a CIA operation. And the people in the deep state wanted to stay in the Vietnam War and other things that Nixon ended. And so he got his for going against the deep state. The only reason why the deep state is even the previous deep state, or I'm sure there's still aspects of it there, of course. The tentacles are very deep. The only reason why this one is being called out is because Trump got a second term that wasn't consecutive. And he was able to put it together that the people he had in there were actually sabotaging him. One of those was Mike Pompeo, as we all knew all the time. Trust Pompeo. No, sorry, no. And he's also implicated. Doesn't look like he's implicated a lot, but he blocks certain things from coming to light to help the deep state. And he's a deep stater from old. So there are vulnerabilities, at least on the surface, with the United States deep state being exposed for the first time ever. However, when it comes to the deep state and a New Jersey-sized, roughly, country that's in the Middle East, that's untouchable. That's absolutely 100% untouchable, hands off. You all know about the Epstein files and all the mess with that. Did you notice that the day that they said there was nothing more there, guess who surprisingly was in D.C. and in the White House? Bibi Netanyahu, who wants perpetual war. He wants perpetual war. That's not even a guess. All you have to do is look at his history. The man loves war. Why? Because he's corrupt. And if they ever stop having a war long enough, He'll go to trial. They've already tried to convict him and take him to trial. And every time they get close to actually getting a trial date or actually do get a trial date, boom, an attack happens on Israel magically. And then they go to war, and then that's held off for a while. There is nobody out there that wants war more than Benjamin Netanyahu. He loves it. He covers his corruption with it. He is the prime propagandist of our day. He would make Hitler and Goebbels blush. In any case, he happened to be in D.C. the day all of a sudden they said, there's nothing more to see here with Epstein. You see, when you know the connection and what it really is with that, it goes back to there. They are the ones who were holding U.S. people. How should we put this? When you have something on somebody, on a politician, you can blackmail them, correct? So now you know why this unwavering support for this country the size of New Jersey that just happens to be in the Middle East. Because that operation was going. I have 100% confidence that's what happened. And it was killed. And then Mr. Warmonger himself didn't need a war he didn't want to create or be in. Benjamin Netanyahu that day at the White House nominates Trump for a peace prize. Because he's so grateful he brought peace to the Middle East. No, he's not. He's a master propagandist. They still run the show in this country. They're above our deep state. And hopefully one day they'll be vulnerable too, and you will be able to see it. Like we all knew what was going on with Obama and Brennan and Clapper and Schiff and all those idiots. We knew what was happening. Hillary Clinton. It was a conspiracy. And let's include the mainstream media also. They were all participants, willing participants. Wall Street Journal, New York Times, all the major networks. And finally, that level of it is being called out. But I don't expect in my lifetime the other level will be called out, the higher level. They control the show. And when I saw it, I was like, there's the president of the United States right there, Benjamin Netanyahu. Sitting right there in the Oval Office. It was not a coincidence that he was there the day they said, there's nothing more to see here. So, we're slowly getting people in the chat. That's cool. That's right. I call it that, Mercury. Very good. I call them the 51st state. That is truly the 51st state. Canada has to be 52nd. Now, listen to what Trump says. I don't know why they shouldn't be Canada, the 51st 51st state. They don't pay taxes to us, but we supply them military protection and weapons if necessary, and blah, blah, blah. So they should be the 51st state. Well, what's different with them and Israel? Nothing. We supply them with the military stuff. They don't pay taxes to us. And if you think they're paying us for the military stuff, we loan them money. No. We gave money to the defense contractors to make weapons, and then we shipped it over there. That's how we appropriated the money. And it goes down as foreign aid. That's how that works. And the American taxpayers pay for it. They are the 51st state. We protect them more than we have had to protect the United States. Think about it. Does more than 3 or 4 years ever go by where we're not shipping materials over there and or helping them in some sort of bombing raid on somebody? If you don't think Iraq, Afghanistan, and all that had anything to do, nothing that had nothing to do with Israel, you're sadly mistaken. And Syria and Lebanon, you're sadly mistaken. And you have the stupid, brain dead Americans out there saying, we need Israel more than they need us. These people are just brainwashed morons. And you got the people believing in the Schofield Bible, where, oh, you have to, Jesus won't return till that third temple's built. Bull crap. Ask them to show you in the Bible. That comes from Schofield's commentary based on nothing. Based on him being a Zionist. That's what it's based on. And the people believe it because the people believe anything the preacher says. They believe anything the politician says. They believe anything mainstream media says. This is the majority of the people still. And don't expect to use AI tools to get truth. Garbage in, garbage out. One day, you will get the truth about all of this. Now, I don't know, in my lifetime, how much of this I'll see, but I've seen a lot now. How many conspiracies have conspiracy theories? Even that, the propaganda. So you don't believe it. That's right, Rollis. Bibi just bombed Damascus too. You know why they did? Because Syria is part of what they believe is theirs. Oh, and then you have this, I mentioned this on the last stream. This idiot preacher on X responded to one of my posts saying, oh, you have to bless Israel. What? Because it's in the Bible. I was like, it's nowhere in the Bible. I said this on the last stream. It's nowhere in the Bible. Nowhere in the Bible says if you bless Israel, you'll be blessed. If you curse Israel, you'll be cursed. Nowhere in the Bible. I gave him the verse that he's referring to. It has to do with Abraham. Abraham had Muslim offspring and he had Israel, both. So you have to bless both the Muslims and Israel. How come it's only Israel today? And it's not that anyway. It's Abraham that would be blessed or cursed, if anyone blessed or cursed him, not his offspring. They confuse that because later in the verse it says, and all the earth will be blessed through your offspring. A little bit of a paraphrase there, which is Jesus Christ. And he writes back after I give him the verse even. Well, it's there. Trust me, it's there. I said, okay, give me the verse. Poof, silence. It's not there. I think it's Genesis 13:6, if I'm not mistaken. Read it. Nobody reads it. You got preachers. You got dumbass Ted Cruz going on Tucker Carlson's show saying that, repeating the same bull crap. And he said he got into the Senate to help Israel, not America. Who's pulling the strings? Your real president is 5,000 miles away, the 51st state. So Canada's got to get in line. They'd be number 52. Just the way it is. And then the veterans I meet with, oh, well, that's our aircraft carrier over in the Middle East, Israel. I was like, oh, really? Because I was on an aircraft carrier in the Middle East. How come if they're the aircraft carrier in the Middle East, whenever anything happens there, they don't use Israel. They send one of our carriers to the Middle East. This raid that we did for Bibi, where we bombed God knows what in Iran. I still don't believe that story. But anyway, whatever. Let's just take it on its face. We struck nuclear sites that were just getting ready to enrich it enough to turn it into a nuclear weapon, like they've been doing since 1997, according to all these idiots. They're weeks away. They're months away, weeks and months away since the 1990s. It's bull crap. Propaganda by the 51st state. All right, they're our aircraft carrier. We had B-2 bombers bomb for them, for the 51st state, these facilities in Iran. Oh, well, I guess we took off from Israel then. We took off from the United States and they had to fly and refuel for 30 some hours to get to the target and return. How come they didn't let us land in Israel? They never do. People don't think it through, though. So what's going on, peoples? A lot of the stuff is making people dig deeper with some did with the Q posts. Yeah. Except, what's it called? The Overton window has shifted. There might have been 10% of the people that were against the 51st state. I'm talking not the people, the state itself. Maybe 10% of the people in the United States, maybe less than 10%. I'd say it's close to 50-50 now. It may be beyond 50-50. Things are changing fast, not from the government, from the people, from the low going up to the high. And I predict if it keeps, I think it is going to keep going. And what's going to happen is the opposite. You're going to start seeing politicians get elected who say they're against the 51st state, whereas before they were always elected for being for the 51st state. It's going to happen. You're talking about, Ben Zion Nowakowski is his real name, born in Poland. I guess you're talking about, okay, yeah, Benjamin, Benny Baby, BB. Well, nobody is a Jew there, nobody in charge. Those who say they are Jews and are not. The synagogue of Satan. That's what's there, not the third temple. Again, the third temple would be a great abomination to God. He destroyed the temple system himself through an earthquake. Yeah, 70 AD, the whole thing was taken away, but it was taken away at the earthquake when Jesus died. When that veil was torn, it was over. When the veil was torn, what did it reveal? The Holy of Holies. How come the presence of God wasn't seen then and all the people died that were in there when the earthquake happened? God knew it was coming, so he left a split second before the veil ripped so they couldn't see it. Is that what it is? Meanwhile, the same God, supposedly, in the Old Covenant, if someone accidentally tripped and fell against the Ark of the Covenant, where God's presence was, they would instantly just die. God didn't care enough then. Couldn't God make them not trip? Or not trip when the Ark of the Covenant was passing them? But the same God showed mercy when the veil was ripped, so that all the people that saw the glory of God then wouldn't die. Because if anybody saw the glory of God, if anybody was in God's presence, which he was supposedly in the Holy of Holies, unless it was the Day of Atonement, it was the high priest, they died. And even the high priest had to go in with bells on his freaking robes so that the other idiots outside, if they didn't hear the bells tolling for a while, they're like, okay, he's dead. He did something wrong in the presence of God. and then they would reach under the curtain and drag him out. And God doesn't dwell in temples made with hands. They don't know that scripture. Oh, but he's going to build a third temple. And it's going to be an abomination to God because why? Someone's going to go in there and sit and say that he is God. Well, I'm sorry that happened in 70 AD. Read the histories. It happened. The abomination would be building the temple in the first place. God ain't going to suddenly put his presence in a temple to be profaned by the Antichrist, which again is nowhere in the Bible. There's the son of perdition, the man of sin. You get those phrases. Not an Antichrist. He who denies Jesus Christ came in the flesh is Antichrist. There is one religion, one group of people on the entire earth that deny that Jesus Christ came in the flesh. It's not the Muslims. They all say, yeah, he came in the flesh. It's not the Christians. The Buddhists and the Chinese don't care enough or know enough to comment on it. It's the 51st state people. There's your Antichrist. He who says Jesus did not come in the flesh is Antichrist. There's no wiggle room. That's what Antichrist is. And if you say the Antichrist, then you never get that concept. Oh, it's one person. No, it's a people. And that Antichrist or that spirit of Antichrist is what's running the world. By who? By Satan. That's how he deceives all the nations. System the temple had three parts: the Holy of Holies, the inner court, and the outer court for the non-Jews area. And in Revelation, it says, don't only measure the inner court or whatever, leave the rest out, because it's given unto the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Well, in the days leading up to 70 AD, that's exactly when Jesus walked the earth. That's the condition of the temple. The Romans had access to all of the outer court. The inner court and Holy Holies, they didn't. They mysteriously just left that to the Jews. But that's the way it was. And the time of the Gentiles evidently was fulfilled in about 70 AD. Oh, I don't know if I told you guys this. It would have to have been on the last stream, so I don't know if I did or not. Remember, I have told you that Passover had to be a Wednesday because that's when Christ was crucified, and he rose on Saturday. Well, as it turns out, we now have enough historical people and things to tie in to know the exact year that Jesus was crucified. And I can't remember what it was, but it's something like 9 years off from what we have, something like that. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. However, as soon as I saw that, and they're like, because of this and because of this and because of this inscription, we know he was crucified this year. And it was convincing evidence. So I said, okay, there's calendars, you can look it up. I looked it up. What day was Passover that year? It was a Wednesday. Which, if you trust your Bible, like we did on a live stream, we went through and proved by following the women, he was crucified on a Wednesday and rose on a Saturday. You can prove it in scriptures. See, when you get into terminology, here's the thing. Revelation it's so symbolic. It tells you it's symbols. And yet people want to say it's literal. Like I said, I know somebody who said, no. I said, you actually expect someone to come riding on a horse. And he says his name is Death. Yes, it's literal. And Jesus is going to have a sword come out of his mouth, and his eyes are going to be as a burning flame. Okay. The eyes as a burning flame is his refining. He's going to refine people when he's in his presence. The two-edged sword is actually explained in the scriptures. It's the word of God. No, he's literally coming with a sword. It's going to come out of his mouth. Okay. I wonder if I hope I can share screens. We're going to find out in a minute. What? Oh, it wants me to give me an Earth 3D map. I bet it's round. Let me show you something. See, the sea represents people. The sea represents large groups of people. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. He's talking about a government rising up out of the population of the earth. The sea can also, depending on the context, it can represent being dead. You have the land of the living, and then you have those who are dead in the sea. It depends on the context. Let's see if I can share this. Can I do it? It's all metaphorical, unless it can't be. They've changed. Oh gosh. It's giving me prompts how to do it, which is just interrupting me. Come on, you can do it. Or can you? Ooh, this is different. I see it here, but it's not presenting to you. Oh, I have to add it to stage separately. Interesting. Okay. Let's just read this. Pick out one word. No, everybody just flies over it. The revelation of Jesus Christ. It's revealing. It's how Jesus Christ is revealed to the world. It's the method. I and the Father are one. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Jesus has already been revealed. This is him. This is the plan in Revelation, how Jesus Christ gets revealed to everybody else who isn't revealed in this age. That's why you have the other 2 ages in Revelation. You have the 1,000-year reign, and you have the second part of the ages of ages where the Father rules. Anyway, in any case, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him. So it's not, I got this wrong my whole life until I don't know what happened. 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever. I finally got, because I was like, why are we getting the revelation of Jesus Christ? He's already being revealed in the Gospels and the other writings, whatever. And then it dawned on me, the context of Revelation is what's going to happen to the world to bring them to be aware of, believe in Jesus Christ. It's the plan in the next ages to bring the rest of the people in, which God gave unto him. So Jesus didn't even know himself if you look at it the other way. because God had to give the revelation of Jesus to himself. No, God gave him the plan of how Jesus Christ would be revealed. This is important. Doesn't it make sense? It doesn't make sense that Jesus Christ didn't know himself, and God had to give it to him. To show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. So those who believe are the only ones that are going to read this right now. And this is going to give you the plan. So you're not left in the dark. To show his servants which must shortly come to pass, and he sent and signified it. Signified. Put in symbols. And when you get into it, it's John getting one vision after the other, all symbolic. They don't run parallel in time to one another. They're out of sequence. And most of the places you have to go to other parts of the Bible to get what the meaning is. Now, for the very obvious stuff, even the regular preachers, well, if you go to Matthew 24, you can see this is the 4 horses of the apocalypse. And some who know a little bit more, when they get to the beast, they go back to Daniel and say, here we have these same images of beasts who came up out of the sea in Daniel. The Roman Empire, the Greek Empire. But the rest of it, they're just like, oh, it must be all just literal. Because they haven't done enough study and gotten it up here to say, oh, I know, where have I seen this before? And some places you haven't seen it before. And guess what Revelation does at that point? It tells you what it means. Jesus Christ is in the midst of the candlesticks. No, you can search the Bible, Genesis, all the way up to Revelation. You won't find any reference that's going to give you anything for that other than candlesticks. So Revelation tells you they're churches. 7 candlesticks, 7 churches. That word signified is the most important word in the first verse. And probably the whole book of Revelation. Signified it. It loses a little bit in English. Look it up in the Greek. It's symbolism. Everything is in symbols. It's telling you he gave the revelation, but turned it into symbols. But everybody wants to say it's literal. Unfortunately, Sissy May, I bet you it was a stronger earthquake that struck about 8 or 9 years earlier. I wish I remembered the date. I don't know why it went out of my head. Never mind's here. Never mind. Yes. Oh, we have the queue number. We have 17 people here, according to my screen. How many here? I'm curious. How many people here use AI at all? And if you do, how deeply? What I have done, and if you're interested, I'll tell you how I fixed my dopamine system, which has been messed up since 2007, but it didn't become really bad until like 2015, around the time I had my first heart attack, stuff like that. But I fixed it in 2 weeks, or started to fix it in 2 weeks. And within a month, now it's been a month since I did something different. It's like I'm trying to make up for lost time. I'm working too hard right now. I have to take a break soon because I'll burn out. Tony Coriolis, good to see you, Tony. I never want to use AI, not a fan. I understand fully. What I use it for is for tasks. just because it makes it so much easier. I'm not using it for information as far as um, what probably most people would use it for. In fact, when I first started using AI or just put my toes in the water, I did what probably most people do. I wanted to see if it had a political bias, if you ask it what the shape of the Earth was and if it moved, was that biased? And of course it is. And then I had to go a little further and say, well, what do you think about Michelson Morley, Michelson Gale, Aries failure, whatever they show? Science shows you have to walk it through though. Science is supposed to be based on demonstrated evidence. This evidence demonstrates that the Earth doesn't move. So give me evidence that the Earth does move. You should have seen what it gave. It gave you the standard BS that Simon Dan would give you. No lie. Well, we see the stars rotate at night. That's proof that the Earth rotates. It would be if there wasn't a second option. The stars rotate around us. We have stellar aberration, redshift, which means things are moving towards us or away. Same thing. They're moving towards us because they're moving towards us, not necessarily because we're moving towards it. So yeah, at first I went down that little teeny rabbit hole and was like, yeah, this is bull crap. It'll make you worse off because people think, oh, if it's AI, it's got to be right. Now, what I'm using it for is if I post a YouTube video, I want it to automatically post it to Facebook as well, or vice versa, or a blog on my website. I'm going to give you guys my website. I'm going to see if anybody wants to check it out. I'm kind of proud of it. Now, I'm a certified nutritionist, but my first niche that I'm going after is surprisingly bodybuilders, amateur bodybuilders. And so the name of this segment of optimal nutrition is Alpha Mind Coach. Because I specialize in training your mind. I'll be doing this with all kind of different things with people. But particularly with this group, because I know this group, and getting off launching something off the ground, it's best to know your clientele and things like that. I will eventually be working with 65-year-old women and whatever, the whole gambit. But my thing is I use a neurological approach to where they change their mind, their mindset, to where they get self-motivated to do whatever they set out to do. Now, most people, it's going to be with diet and nutrition. And so I don't care what diet they pick. I don't care. What happens is people get a diet. They get a coach. They get a diet, whatever. And then they stick to it for a while. Then they get bored with it or it doesn't work well. And then they quit because the mindset wasn't trained. Now, you may quit on the diet after I'm done with you, but you're going to be motivated to stick with something. So you will come up with something else. I get the people to look at their deepest, darkest fears if they don't do it. And on the flip side, the positive stuff. But it can get severely negative because people, when they face the programming that's in their mind that's keeping them from succeeding, when they face that and understand how to change that mindset to where they can overcome, not only where they can overcome, but they're highly motivated to overcome. That's the difference. They will be highly motivated to overcome. And so this isn't going to be like most others. I'll give you a 6-month package of, 4 weeks of training each month for 6 months or whatever. If you don't have this down in a month, then you don't want to have it down. And I don't want to work with you and you don't want to work with me. In fact, not everybody am I going to work with. Dr. Bass Ackwards, hello. Never mind. Always has some good lines. I like how this is in blue now. Wasn't it in green before? I guess because it was. I don't know if no, it's not my logo because my logo on here now. Um, if I didn't say it, I think I said it at the beginning. I'm planning on changing this website back, and I will get to the point once I get the business totally done. I will upload. We won't just do streams. I will upload some videos again. Earth cosmology stuff. You know, the subjects we cover. Now, if you guys want to, I would like, if you would, don't have to, subscribe to my I wonder if I can switch accounts right now. Shoot. I'm going to try it. If I lose you, I'll come back. I've only got 5 subscribers at my other YouTube channel, which is fine. It just started. And I think 2 or 3 of those subscriptions are people I know. There's a new one I didn't even know. Okay. So. Oh, I know what it's called. They give you an easy name now. So, if you wouldn't mind, some of you subscribing to, just especially at first, so I can get off the ground. And if you decide to watch a video, I know you probably don't want to, just let it run in the video. Just let it run until the end. The longer you watch, the better. And everything when there's relatively short now anyway. And I have a lot of shorts. But here is that. Yeah, there it is. You don't have to watch it or whatever. You don't have to watch any of them. But if you do click on it, click like and just let it run if you would. That would be cool. It would help out. Rich, one of your vid shorts, you stated that skipping breakfast is counterproductive because you overeat your next meal. I thought that was the basic principle of intermittent fasting. It is a basic principle of intermittent fasting. However, and I know when that was when I put that together, I had to think about that a little bit, and you're absolutely right. If your mindset is intermittent fasting, then that video isn't for you. In fact, I'll probably take that short down. Because that was really made for the typical person who won't even think about intermittent fasting. And so they just get more and more hungry because they're not in that mindset to start with, and they haven't been doing it. Because, intermittent fasting can be tough at first. You make it through the first few days or whatever. But if you're not in that mindset and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm going to skip breakfast to save on calories or whatever, that's not good. In fact, you're better off eating more meals, not less, per day. But I'm glad you brought that up because I'm probably going to kill that one because it's 8-second video or something like that. It lacks context that it needs. And there was 2, I can't remember what the other one. There was 2 of them. I was like, I'm not sure about this. But I'm glad you brought it up again. I will kill it. And we'll have a funeral for it. But thanks for bringing that up. Never mind. I learned to fast during college. Is that because of monetary concerns, Rolos? When the Day of Atonement, the one day that the high priest could go in, that's a fasting day. It's 24 hours of no eating, and of course the hardcore 51st staters are like no water either. No, I thought so, Ramos. And now the way they have it set up, with your having to pay back your student loans and all that stuff, it's like you can't eat right afterwards either. And for a long, long, long time. You know, I did not want Biden to be able to forgive student loan debt because, well, just because. Um, they all signed up for it. They knew what they were signing up for and all that stuff. So blah, blah, blah. However, the reason why tuitions are so high in the first place is because of our government. I won't get into the details, but it is because our government will say, like when I got my associate's degree, um, the government would lend people up to $27,000 for this 2-year degree. And guess what it costs then? $27,000. Whether you went through the government to get a loan or not, it costs $27,000 because the government would back $27,000 worth of it. So I have no problem with people having to pay that back. But what they should do is they should take all the interest and knock it off. All those loans, because all that was done in conjunction with the banks to make the banks rich. And the government, what they do is they secure the loan so that if people stiff them, me and you taxpayers pay it. So I say make them pay the principal, but the interest, go back and wipe it all out. Now, luckily, when I paid $27,000, I got a loan, but I was making a lot of money then. And when the school was over, I just paid it off because it was interest free for a certain 6 months afterwards or something. And I was like, okay, I'll use somebody else's money for 6 months. And what if I die in that 6 months? My kids got 27 grand more. That's just the way I think. It's like I earned something. I used to go to One Stop Nutrition a lot, and every ninth shake you got or something, you got one free. And when it came up, it was like, do you want to use it or save it? I was like, I want to use it. What if I die before I use it? I wouldn't say that to them. That was my thinking. I did know it's not fair. After schooling is so expensive, your dollar doesn't work as good. It's a scam. It really is a scam. The colleges have a right to make money, to pay their people and all that stuff, but the whole thing is a racket. For what I went to school for, now think about this: $27,000. Now it was an accelerated, and it doesn't matter if you did the whole 2 years or you got an accelerated program. I not only did I have an accelerated program, but I did an accelerated program at night. And so it was shortened even more because they only did 3 or 4 hours at night. Was it 4 hours? I think it was 4 hours. And in 10 months, you had your 2-year degree. So that's the thing I did. And it was still 27,000. However, that 27,000, let me see how long you'd have to work in the industry on average to pay that back. I mean, if you gave 100% and you weren't taxed in your pay. Let's see. You'd have to work 1,588 hours, no taxes taken out of your check, no Social Security, nothing. 1,588 hours. So that means you have to work 40 weeks and give 100% to them. And that's if That's without the interest they're charging you. That's just the base sum. Ugh, it's a racket. Versatech One, hello. Good to see it. For real, Rolos. And today, the school president, they weigh in on political things. It's like, that's not what colleges are for. So we have some. So for those of you who have joined the stream after the first 5-10 minutes or 15, whatever it was for me to explain, I'll come back as I can. They will start to get more and more frequent as it finally gets cooler here. My guess is it's upper 80s, low 90s where I'm sitting right now, which is tolerable enough for me to last about an hour, which is what I'm going to do. I canceled my subscription to StreamYard because I couldn't afford it. And the free version has 2 hours, I think. Now, if I get bumped off in 4 minutes, you'll know that's what it was. But I think it has a 2 hour, and it's got a 20-hour limit or something monthly. Now, if we start getting near that again, we'll see what we can do. But we will, this channel will, the plan is to flip it back. Don't expect it. I have a different logo and everything on this channel. I expect to flip it back at some point. It's like number 27 on my 30 priorities right now to switch it back because it doesn't really matter. I can do a stream. You guys know who I am. The heat index. That's a good question, Sissy May. What is the current heat? What is the current heat index? Well, the outside temperature now is 87 and it feels like 86. I can tell you that when it gets above 108, that's usually like the magic crossing point. And it's breezy. It literally feels like you preheated your oven to 400 and you went and you lean over and you pull the stove open and that heat rushes up and hits you in the face. I swear that's what it feels like. All day as you're outside. Well, you won't stay out all day. You won't survive it. Try to remove this thing I got. There it was. Well, they changed a few things in the few weeks I haven't used it. Oof, hello, oof. So it won't be regular yet, the streams, but they will slowly start to get back to regular. And I suspect by the fall, we're going to be on a full schedule and I will be uploading videos. That's the plan, as well as the live streams. And so anybody that goes over to the address for the website, rather for the YouTube channel and subscribes and actually watches video, just lets them play or whatever. I appreciate you. I really do. It will eventually take. I'm doing so many technical things. I don't have time for content really. Anyway, I use AI for doing tasks for me faster. That's it. Sometimes research. I want to know what topics are hot, something like that. It's easy for that to do it. So, but I know better than to ask it for truth. No way. Because you're not going to get it. Oh, Versatech 1. How did I fix my dopamine system? It was by total mistake. I've tried all kind of different things, supplements, things you're supposed to do, like do this and do. It's hard to say do this and do that when your dopamine system's screwed up because you don't feel like doing this and doing that. Just to give you guys an example, in 2016, 2017, my dopamine system was so messed up that the only relief I got was when I slept. I would wake up. You know how the Bible says his countenance fell um, when God asked Cain, whatever about Abel, his countenance fell. That's what, as soon as I opened my eyes in the morning, I felt good for a split second, normal. And then, woof, it was gone. My motivation was gone. Everything was gone. If it wasn't for Charlie, I probably would have just died in the bed. I didn't even want to get up and eat. But Charlie would beg for walks, stuff like that. So it forced me to. I did more walking during that period of time than anything else. Anyway, so I've tried all kind of stuff in between. It's gotten better over time, but it got to the point where the last year there was no more progress, and I was still in that can't get something accomplished that I want to get accomplished. In other words, I might start something but won't finish it. Now, of course, sometimes I would finish it or whatever, but anyway, so I don't. I have some hair loss. Not bad, but it's there. And so it was either that or I was looking for something that, of course, for the gym, for the pump. I don't remember why, because I get supplements all the time to try. I don't know what got me interested in this, but I got a supplement called I'm going to type it in and put it on the screen because I know 99% chance you've never heard of this. Katuba bark extract. So I got it. It was for one of those two things. I did not do deep research on this stuff to see what else did it do. Speaking of AI, I'll come back to that. I got a good use for AI on my website, and you guys actually may want to use it. Anyway, so I researched it I wanted it for one of those two reasons. I don't know what it was. Probably the pump. That usually will motivate me to spend a little money. Now this is pretty cheap. It's actually dirt cheap, really. It's cheap. Anyway, I noticed after about 10 days to 2 weeks, I started feeling more motivated to do stuff, which is where I wanted to be. And I said to myself, if I ever got to that point, I will force myself to do stuff. But I need the push to get started. And that gave me the push to get started. Then, somewhere in the third, the fourth week of taking it, it really kicked in. And I was motivated. I'm motivated. I'm too motivated. The other day, I got up early, started work at 8 something. I did other stuff first, and then I think I did laundry that day, whatever. And then 8:26, I remember sitting there at 8:26, and I started working, developing the website and different things like that. I didn't finish till 6 something that night, and I only took a half-hour break. That has not been me since that was the old me. And so I was like, all right, what's changed? And I looked it up, and Katuba, did I spell it wrong? No, I got it. Anyway, it's changed my life. It really has. So I did research on it then. What else does this do? And sure enough, fixes the dopamine system, essentially. It's not how they word it, but it works on the dopamine system. Anyway, it's got some other benefits too, but that's basically what it does. And so I'm very grateful that God had me stumble upon that. Now, with that being said, one of the things that I am going to put together is an AI bot, chat bot, where you come to my site and something like Katuba, all right, except you wouldn't necessarily search for a Katuba. You could say, I have this, and this I'd like to remedy. Give me a list of, and I want to give the whole gambit. I don't care if it's steroids. I don't care if it's peptides. I don't care if it's supplements. I don't care if it's herbs from India, whatever. I want this to go out and search all the possible solutions for you and come back and put it in a table format. Exactly everything that does for you. Or, I mean, yeah, the idea is like, all right, I have these 4 things happening. Well, the ideal thing is it finds one supplement that fixes all 4, or peptide, or whatever. If not, maybe it finds 3 out of the 4 and returns that next as the second best, or 2 out of 4, or 1 out of 4. And so you don't have to go to Google and it's all going to be in one place. It's going to give it to you in the format you need so you can boom, 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 see it and know if you got the right thing. Have you ever looked into the effects of saunas on HGH production? I have not, never mind, but I will now. We have a sauna here. I have I don't even want to say it. It's a story that has kept me out of sauna since I heard this story. But anyway, we have a sauna here I can use. I don't know why I would use it now because the air temperature is higher than the sauna temperature, I can guarantee. But I could use it year round because it never gets too cold to use. That's for sure. But I'm going to make a note of that and look that up. That is very interesting. You know, somebody asked me, you know, when you work out, when you lift weights, it produces human growth hormone more than if you didn't. And out of my siblings, I'm the only one that works out. I have a brother, I have a sister. They're both younger. I'm the oldest. Interesting. Alrighty, I got it. Thank you. Never mind. I appreciate that. What was I talking about? Oh, it can increase. Wow, that's a lot. Never mind. See, a lot of people are like, oh, I can get a 50% increase. I'm like, what? That's nothing. 800% is something. That's 8 times. But anyway, I'm 64. My brother is 61 or 2, and my sister is 59 or 60. And they both have, now I've got some gray hair. They've got a ton of gray hair. And if we go out somewhere, people think I'm the youngest in the family. And I think the difference is because all the years I worked out, I got a bonus HGH production. I have no other reason for it. We have the same genetic pool. Sissy Mary, I taught myself how to recalibrate my speedometer. I'm very curious about that, Sissy May. You're going to have to elaborate a little bit there. Duck, yeah. Oh, there's a new browser that I got to try. That is AI based, It looks amazing. You can tell it to open your email and say, get rid of all my spam and unsubscribe to stuff I don't do or whatever. And it'll do it. And I don't know if you're like me, but it will. I'll end up with like 75 tabs open in my browser. Seriously, I can be up that high. This thing, you can tell it close the tabs where it looks like where I'm done with what I needed to do. I signed in or I read something or whatever, and it'll go through and close them all. And it'll keep the history in case you ever want to get it back. You just say, hey, I was on a certain site that was talking about this a few weeks back. Can you open that back up? And it'll do it. Stuff like that. I think it was, I don't know if it was the Wall Street Journal piece of junk or something else. They predicted in the next year, AI is going to get rid of 300 million jobs. And I believe it. I've seen what it can do. We are heading to what Elon Musk said we're going to have a deflationary spiral because we're going to have AI robots that are going to pick the strawberries. They're going to open your cupboard, see what you're low on, get in a car, drive to the grocery store, get the stuff that you want. Or you can say, hey, robot, I have family coming over and I want to cook this meal. I want to cook lasagna and a casserole and whatever. Get me the appropriate things. And it'll go to the store and get it for you. Come home, put it away. It'll do your laundry, even to the point of folding it and putting away your laundry in your drawers. Dean Floyd, good to see you. You got to watch earlier, Dean. We talked about the 51st state in the Middle East. Quite a bit. So let's see this. I'm curious. I put my trip meter on full mileage, then crank my car. Then, while holding the trip meter in, turn car off. It will automatically reset the speedometer. The speedometer or the odometer? What does it mean you put your trip meter on full mileage? Trip meter. You're because you have trip, or you have like trip A, trip B. Crank your car, then while holding the trip meter in, turn the car off and automatically reset the speedometer. The speedometer. Why would you need to reset it? Was your speedometer off? In other words, if you were driving 55, or was it showing you going 60 or something weird? And you found instructions on doing this, Sissy May? Hour and 14 minutes in the heat. Now, see, what's interesting is it's 86 degrees outside. It'll be hotter in here. It takes till about 2 or 3 in the morning until this gets cooler than the outside. It's strange. I've had laundry folding technology for years. That's called life. Oh, it quit. Couldn't tell how fast I was going. Oh, well, that's good to know, Sissy May. That's very good to know. Because I've had cars where that happened before, too. I got a bad sign today. When I started up my car, it was a little slow, a little sluggish, like the battery. Then it went fine. We go through batteries every 2 to 2.5 years here in Arizona because of how hot it is. And I've had this car for 2 years. Yeah, never mind. It's got the wife technology going. I think I was telling Dean Floyd this. A friend of mine has a girlfriend who's black, and they go to my gym, and once in a while I'll see him there. And they were there. I hadn't seen him in a while, and I don't know how we got on the subject, but we got on the subject of chores you have to do at home and stuff like that. And at one point I said, yeah, well, we used to have slaves for that. And I wasn't meaning, it didn't even dawn on me till later that maybe she took it wrong. I don't know if she did or not. I never asked her, but I felt bad afterwards because I wasn't talking about slaves. I was talking about women, because women, that's what they did before they went out in the workforce. They were actually the slaves of the house. They cleaned, they cooked, they did everything. And they were unpaid slaves. So, now, of course, that's part of the bargain. That's the way it was. But I wasn't going back to the 1850s or so. I wasn't doing that in my mind. But we have slaves today. They're called your washing machine, your dryer, your dishwasher, your blender, your fan, your air conditioner. Electricity that turns anything is a slave. These are slaves. And there's my Charlie. These are slaves. Remote controls are slaves. Think about it. I remember I thought it was the coolest thing. I had to be 12 years old, something like that. It was so, I was like, I'm going to hook this to the television. It's so cool. I won't have to get up and turn it on and off. Because what I would do is I would lay in bed and watch it as a 12-year-old, and I'd start to fall asleep, whatever. And at some point I had to get up and turn it off. Or I'd wake up at 3 a.m, it was still running, that type of thing. And so when you get up, you kind of lose that tiredness, and it takes longer to get to sleep. And so they came out with the first flip switch on off that you could remotely plug into something. It had a cord, but you plugged the device, in this case the TV, into the end of the cord, and then the end of the cord had a plug on it. You plug that into the wall, and then you ran the cord to your bed, and then when you were done watching TV, click, you just turned it off. It cut the electricity off to the TV. And I thought that was so awesome. And another thing I thought was awesome, and I was about the same age, was watching Star Trek, the original series, when they would do the flip up, which ended up being a flip phone. They would flip up the communicator and they would talk remotely without wires. And I remember thinking to myself, that would be so awesome. Too bad it's not possible. Boy, was I wrong. It became possible because of all the satellites they have now. All right, I'm going to go, guys. I've drenched myself enough. I produced enough water on my back to feed southern Mexico, or give them water for thirst. Now, you found information on YouTube University. I'm telling you, YouTube is, you got it, Sissy May. That's one of the beautiful things about YouTube. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but YouTube has surpassed all broadcasting. It's bigger than Netflix. More people watch YouTube than watch Netflix or anything else. And people get their information from here. And I remember before I really used YouTube, I didn't use any social media. Um, I remember my brother, he came to fix my car or something. I said, well, how do you know how to do this? Because he didn't have my Chilton book for the car. He said, oh, there's a video on YouTube that shows you how to do it. I was like, oh, okay. Um, I'll get to you second here, Kurt Cooper. Anyway, I do know that when I decided to get into social media, I could not stand, still can't stand Facebook. Um, I didn't like any of them except for YouTube. That was the only one that caught my eye. Kurt Cooper, I'm at work, but I have to ask what Rich and peeps in chat think of King Solomon and him trapping demons in sigils. Is that how it's pronounced? And how sigils look like circuits. I have no idea what I don't even know what that is. I'm going to look it up though. Oh yeah, they can look like a circuit. I just want to see a few more images. Oh, they're weird though. Some do look like, some don't. Some do. They're magical symbols. Okay. See, stuff like that bored me in the Old Testament. So nothing stuck with that. Now, see, I'm going to share this. Why doesn't it put it on the screen? Let me get there. You see this one over here? Seal of Solomon? I don't know about that. Not negative or positive. It's just something doesn't ring right with that. Like this is a modern day symbol, but maybe it's not. Let's see what we got here. King Solomon seal. You're not going to see it, but you will see it after I copy it and put it in the same page. See, if it opens in a new page, you guys can't see it. But I can do this. Now you can see it. Let me make sure you are, though. Yep, you're seeing it. More than one source, so maybe it's true. Now, see, none of these. Now, this looks a little like an electric schematic. I'm surprised this isn't our flag. The colored ring of Solomon. Oh, if you turn that about 30 degrees, you get this. Oh, the old all-seeing eye. And so your question was, oh, I can get these for 10% off. Thank you, Mr. Cooper. I got a deal. So the other thing was, Trapping demons. All right. Let's do this. King Solomon. Trapping demons. And sigils, if I'm pronouncing that right. Let's see where that is. Folklore. King Solomon is often associated with trapping demons using a magical ring and sigils, though this is not explicitly described in the Bible. Oh, that's why I don't remember it. Legends say he used 3 tools to control the blind demons, forcing them to work on building the Temple of Jerusalem. Oh. The Testament of Solomon, a pseudo apocryphal text, details Solomon's encounters with demons and his use of magical ring to subdue them. You know, he was into occult practices. So I find it funny that the demons would teach him to trap themselves, so to speak. Thank you, Kurt. Thanks for stopping by. Dean says, Dad said the Indians had figured out women did all the work. All men did fish and hunt, but the white men came and screwed things up. That's right. And I'm half of each, so there's a war within me with who to blame. Oh, here it is. I think. Why are you going to a new page? Oh, remember how I was wondering if it would show the chat overlay on the screen? It will if you give them a credit card. That stars the symbol of a false god. God confronted Israel over. Yeah, I'm sure, Sister May. There's nothing kosher about that symbol, if you want to put it that way. That is definitely it's. Well, there's no good in it. So what are you left with? But that's what is ruling the world today. But Rich, the United States is the one that we're the great superpower under the direction of the 51st state. Oh, you're in good form tonight. Never mind. King Solomon had quite a few of those folding machines, or so I've heard. That's where he got a lot of that stuff from. Is from because he would marry outside people, and they would bring paganism in. Nothing has changed. If you want to corrupt a good man, have him be seduced by an evil woman. And I'm not saying women are evil. I'm saying some are. But there's evil men too. There's evil on both sides. But the seduction is particularly good on the female side. That aspect of it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna run. So yeah, see, that's what I mean by the Overton windows is shifting, Sissy May. It's shifting. People are waking up. And I don't know what APEC and all those foreign lobbyists are going to do. It's gotten past the point of containing it. There's no stopping it. It will get to the point, and soon, where, again, you will be voted in if you denounce, or let's not go that far yet. If you say stuff like stupid Ted Cruz, that he went into the Senate to help Israel, you're going to start losing elections because of that. It's going to be America first, and not even Israel second. It's America first, and whatever's in our benefit is second. So Again, I don't anticipate another stream this week. If there is another one, it would be Friday. Let me see what the weather is going to be that day. And they lie on here. They give you these good looking temperatures until the day gets there, until it gets closer. Friday 104. If I'm here early enough and can get the air conditioner going early enough, possibly Friday. But that is now see, let me give you the next 10 days or whatever this is. Today 100. Well, it got hotter than that. I saw it at 102 on 2 different thermometers around my house. Tuesday 92. It was only supposed to be 98 today. Wednesday 97. Then here we go. 100, 104, 104, 106, 106. Guarantee add 4 degrees to each one of those. 102, 103. Well, all of these were in the 90s yesterday. This is how they keep you from committing suicide if you live here. They make you think it's going to be cooler than it is. They do the same thing on the East Coast in reverse. You'll go through 2 weeks of seeing the sun, maybe 2 days, and in the extended forecast, it's always going to be nice until you start getting close to where they said it was going to be nice, and then it's chance of rain or snow or sleet or whatever. They do the opposite, and they make it. Anyway, they play a little game. It's always, I'm a weatherman. I notice these things. They always play to the good side in the future. We saw a flag of the U.S. written when it was the United States of Israel. So you saw a true rendition of the conditions we live in. And so I will be back. It won't be as long, I don't think, as it was before. And then we'll slowly get back to our regular schedule and maybe even more than what we did before. So that's the way it's looking. And I thank you all for joining. Thank you, everybody who's going to go to the new YouTube channel and subscribe, and don't watch videos, or if you do, just let them play all the way through. You don't have to watch it. I'm going to put it in one more time. It does help out for me. I do appreciate it. That should get you there. Right there in the comments. I hope it gets you there. All right, guys. So God bless everybody. Everybody on the stream, prayers for Paraplegic Bear. Again, he lost his girlfriend to cancer. Please pray for him. And hopefully we'll see him on here soon. And yeah, so God bless, and see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.